So at first we were trying to figure out how to get a V8 in a Honda CRX. And then we were like, well, you know what, let's do some race car stuff while we're at it. Let's hop up the engine. Let's do 500 horsepower. Let's do a roll cage, fun stuff like that.
You serious?
And it's like, well, you know, this is a hot rod shop. Let's do airbags. You know, let's get this thing laid out on the ground. And then before you know it, you're building a frame from scratch. What? This is a fun project.
Fine.
There it goes. Front to back, 0 to 0. That is pretty damn good if I do say so myself. What's up, it's Casey from Caseyscustoms. We're back on our V8 Honda rear wheel drive conversion, and I ordered thousands of dollars of hot rod parts, and in this video, we go ahead and build a frame from scratch. Let's get to the footage. We are back on our 1989 Honda CRX V8 rear-wheel drive conversion, and as you can see, I have ordered a ton of parts. In my last video, I said I didn't know how much of this build I was going to show because I'm a hot rod builder and I didn't know if anybody would want to see it on the channel. Well, that video has basically been my most popular video of the year, and everybody is asking for more. So as you can see, I've ordered so many parts for it, and I finally found a chassis. So I was going to build a chassis from scratch. That's what those frame rails were for. I'm probably still gonna need them, but I could not find a Mustang 2 front end that was narrow enough for the car, other than a brand new one, and a brand new Mustang 2 kit is like $2 grand. I didn't want to do all that. I did some measuring, did some Googling. I found out an S10 is actually about the right width, front and rear. So I started to buy an S10 rear end online, and then sure enough, I realized I already have a full S10 chassis, and it's the modern chassis, so it's even more narrow than the older ones. It's up in my dad's house. We're gonna go get it right now and tow it back to the shop. Holy! Oh. Good. Get my cardio in. She is finally here. We had all kinds of issues. The drive shaft is just loose, so it's banging around in there. So every now and then it would get caught and it would drag a rear wheel, and we had a disc brake that's locking up. So every now and then all the wheels would stop and it would just start bouncing down the road. Luckily, my dad only lives like a mile and a half away, so it wasn't that big of a deal. We got it here. I am not going to be using any of this floor, so we're going to go ahead and get that cut off first, and then we obviously have to narrow this chassis. I was going to cut the front clip off, cut the rear clip off, and then just make my frame section myself. I might still do that, I'm not sure, but I got to looking at this. I think this frame is narrow enough all the way down where I might just be able to stick the whole thing under the car. I think it's the older S10 chassis. At the front clip, they come way out here and they get super wide, but this one seems to stay straight all the way down. I don't know. We're gonna take some more measurements. First thing we gotta do is cut this damn floor off. So let's get to work. Okay, finally got the floor or the rest of the body off of the frame. The body mounts were just rusted solid, so half of the bolts broke when I was taking them out. Giant pain in the ass. That ended up taking like an hour and a half. It should have been a 10-minute job, but got it all free. We can finally see the frame now, and it is narrow enough to fit under the Honda, but it is ugly. I don't love how it looks. It's kind of a gross looking frame. Also a little too high. I don't know. We might end up making our own rails. I'm not sure. I'm still on the fence of it. I need to start still stripping this and cutting it down. We are not going to be running power steering because that's a little bitty car, and a manual steering is fine. It came with a manual steering. It's going to be no big deal. Also, I don't have the extra 18 inches that the S10 box is in front, because as you can see on a Honda CRX front wheel, you only got like a foot before the front bumper, so I just don't have the room. It's even worse in the rear. It's only like 8 inches or something. So what we're going to do in the back is do our 4-link kit. As you can see, we've got a real nice beefy 4-link, so we're going to be able to basically bob this frame way back here. It's going to do away with all that. I was never going to run leaf springs anyway, because it doesn't weigh anything. So I'm going to be running bags. As I'm looking at this, I realize that I still have so much work to do to strip this frame. So let's stop whining and get to work. Okay, the rear frame section is out with the leaf springs and stuff. I went ahead and cut this down because, like I said, it needs to be cut down anyways. And now what I'm going to do is strip the rear end, kind of get it semi put back together, and we're going to decide exactly what we're going to do for these frame rails. I think I am going to cut them and make my own out of square tubing, because I already have to narrow this, or I always have to shorten this anyway, because obviously an S10 Blazer and a Honda CRX are not the same wheelbase, so I was going to have to shorten it a bunch. And I was looking at the frame. There's really no great place to shorten it. I mean, technically you can kind of shorten it there and there, but I don't love it. So we are going to get the rear end stripped, and then we're going to cut it there and probably here. I am going to still probably use this rear kick-up section, so I might cut it like right there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll do some measuring, and then we're just going to attach that to that with square tubing. So kind of be like almost look like a Model A frame, where it has a kick up in the front, flat, and then a kick up in the rear. But we got to strip this shit. Everything on this thing is rusted, and it does not want to unbolt, so probably going to have to cut everything, which is not fun. So let's get to it. Okay, finally, we got her stripped, got her cleaned up. Now it is time to cut the living shit out of this frame. Some of you are going to look at it and go, it looks like it's already cut to shit. Oh no, we're going to get even crazier. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use this rear notch. I don't have to. I could technically make my own, but that is kind of the shape I already want anyway, so I'm okay with that. I'm going to cut it right there, probably right along that line. And then probably like right there. Actually, you know what? We'll just go right here with this. And then we'll put her together. All right, let's have some fun. She's solid. It doesn't have any rust in it, but boy, it looks crappy. All right, let's cut the front. That's heavy. Oh, that's heavy. It's awkward as hell. You okay? You took it like a champ! Ha ha! Good job, camera. Okay, starting to get our frame situated. If you're like me and you have a really crooked ass floor, you're probably thinking, how the hell are you gonna build a frame and have it square? Well, it's not the floor that needs to be square, it's the platform that we're building the frame on. So you can use anything you want. I've did this before where I welded basically a bolt on the bottom of square tubing, and then I could turn it, you know, to make it go up or down like per thread to get it squared. And basically all we need is we need a platform that's square this way and this way. So what I've done is squared this off. I got this to 0.1 degrees. I got this back here to 0.1 degrees, and then we also need to make sure it's level this way across. I got that to 0.1. I'm going to do a little bit more because one side was still a little bit wonky. But as long as you get that, you know, it doesn't matter how it's held up there. If you can get that all squared, then we know that whatever I build on this is going to be true and square because we've already squared everything off. And then obviously, whenever you get your rails where you want them, you need to weld it, double check it, make sure it's all level. But so far we are looking really good. I'm gonna take some measurements. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it. And I think what I'm gonna do first is just, this frame section here is way too long, but I'm gonna go ahead and get it welded. Then I know I have a square section of frame, and then we just need to basically add the front end and the rear end to that. But we're obviously gonna have to cut it down because these are 8-foot sticks, and that's a little bitty ass car. So it's probably only gonna be like a 4-foot section, but I think it's gonna be easier to just square up the whole piece like that. Let's take some measurements and weld some shit. I had this perfect. Everything was within a 1/16 of an inch, and I got up and I kicked it. It took me 30 minutes to get it set back. We're good right now, though. Okay, check it out. We got our basic frame shape made, and right now it is 0 degrees this way and 0 degrees that way. She is dead level, probably the most level that anything's ever been in this goddamn shop. What I want to do now is start putting the S10 parts on my new frame, because that is what, I mean, that's going to be our cross member, that's going to be our strength. That's also going to be how we, you know, start bolting parts up. Technically the rear I can make from scratch because we're going to be doing airbags anyway, but I like that hoop section, and that's just less work for me to do, so we're going to butt that up somewhere back here. But for now, I want to get the front end put on, but since this is an airbagged car, we need to go ahead and get those springs out of there, because as high up as they are, I don't want to go welding anything up by stock spring height, because that isn't going to matter, because, like I said, we're going to have airbags. So I'm going to get my springs completely out of there so everything will lay flat. And then what we can do is build the frame basically from the ground up. So it'll be as low as it can. We can get everything welded. And then what we'll do, we will have our 8 inches of clearance when the bags have air in them. So I said all that to say I need to take that front end apart before we can continue on this frame, even though I really want to keep going. But yeah, we're going to cut it out quick. Let's go. Check it out. We're using the old stick welder as a torch. So easy. I used to always have to use this when I didn't have a plasma. It works great. All right, we got our front clip kind of roughly where it needs to be. One of the hardest things when you do a custom frame like this, attaching a front subframe, is getting just the funky shape of it to match, you know, your 2x4 square tubing. As you can see, we've had to make some relief cuts. Pop that guy back over there. And then on the inside, I'm going to put the plate in here. I got some 1/4 inch plate. Tie it all in, and this will actually be stronger than it was before. That's how I'm done with it. Look, as you can see, we are still absolutely perfect. Look at that, 0, 0. It is perfectly level. I'm going to go ahead and put my plate in here, and then we're going to be done with the front end. We'll move on to the back. We are doing some heavy fabrication in this video, baby. Good news is, whenever I made my frame rails, I made them match the width of the rear of the frame. So this section was super easy. Just gotta give her a couple of those, and then we are money. Check it out. It's a cutie patootie little guy. Wheelbase is perfect, 91 inches. Triple checked it, quadruple checked it. We are still level every which way, which is great. Check it out. I didn't know that we were gonna get a full frame built this video, and it looks like we did. I can't believe it. I still probably got an hour of welding, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a bunch of welding and probably call it a video, because this is gonna be maybe an hour-long footage. I don't know. You know, Richard, I just send the videos to Richard and he makes it, but I'm sending him a lot of footage on this one, I already know. So, cool. I don't know. I could start piecing together my 4-link. Do I want to start piecing together the 4-link? Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. Let's keep going. See where we get. All right, we got it all welded up, got it all grinded. It's pretty. Before I take it off its little frame that I made, check it out. 0, 0 in the back and 0, 0 in the front. I can't ask for better. Oh, and then we got to do side by side, or front to back, rather, not side by side. Front to back. Oh, it just moved. There it goes. Front to back, 0 to 0. That is pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I am extremely proud of that. I'm going to go ahead and take it off its little frame now so you can see what it looks like on its tires, and then I am done. This was like 20 plus hours worth of work in a 30-hour period. We hit this thing really hard because I needed to get a video done. I had a tooth pulled in my last week's video whenever I cut up the Mustang. See, she's all cut up to shit. And basically, I lost like 4 days. Well, when you're doing 2 videos a week and you lose 4 days in the middle there, that kind of screws you. But I am really, really happy with where we're at. Let's get her on the wheels now. Oh, I forgot I tack welded it there. Get out of there. Oh, the truth! It's a chassis! That makes me happy. Check that thing out. We'll do our airbags on the next video and do our steering, but that's cool as shit. That thing was an S10 frame like earlier this morning. When I took my kid to school this morning, that was an S10 frame. And now it is a custom 91-inch wheelbase, square as shit, hot rod frame. I love it. Cool, man. I got a transmission cross member coming. I was going to try and use the S10 one, but it's ugly, and they're cheap. They're like $60 or whatever, so got one of those coming. Whenever it comes in, I will cut this out. This one's not. This one's just sitting there, but man, that's cool. Check it out. You get here, you can kind of see it. Oh, I'm excited. Freaking moth. What is up with you? Cool. That's a cool picture right there. Just so that we get this straight, I went from, this is a cool project I've been wanting to do for 20 years. I don't know if I'm going to show it on the channel, to the most popular video I've had in a while. So everybody's like, let's do it. It's to me ordering thousands of dollars of parts. You know, we're doing more than just V8 swapping it. We're airbagging it now. We're going to lay it on the ground. We got some more fun stuff to hop up the motor, you know. And then even from there, we got crazier. And I was like, I'll just put it on an S10 frame. And then I got to looking and I was like, it would look better if it was custom made. And so in 2 days, I went from, let's try and figure out how to get a Mustang 2, you know, front suspension in the Honda unibody, to, let's just make a frame from scratch. It's going to be 10 times better. It's 10 times cooler. It's going to be lower. It's going to be better for performance, all that fun shit. But that just shows you the, the scale of everything has just got out of hand, and I'm here for it. I hope you guys are here for it too, because now we can just kind of cut our floor out and then make our floor fit this frame, and can be really moving along very quickly. Once I get a transmission cross member in, technically I have the mounts already that will bolt to this front end. So I'll be able to bolt this engine in probably next week sometime when that transmission cross member comes in, which is just so cool. So much easier than doing the other way. And like I said, this way we're gonna be able to layer out on the ground, because I've seen people do the rear wheel drive Honda stuff. It hasn't been done a lot, but it's been done a couple times. I haven't seen any of them on bags or laid out. So that's gonna be, you know, our little hot rod touch. We kind of hot rod shit up around here. That's what I do. So thank you very much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. For the coolest merchandise on the planet, go to Caseyscustoms.com. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, comment, all that good shit they tell you to do at the end of videos. And check out some more of my other videos. Peace. I love ya.